Hi, my name is Mlenga Christine, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate, or let me say present, on how to create a musical loop in VCV Rack using a SEQ3 module. So to start with, this is how my patch sounds like. So as you can see, I use different types of modules. I use the SEQ3, a VCO, a VCF, a quantizer which is QNT, a VCA, an ADSR, a scope, reverb, and audio. So the SEQ3 module is used to create melodical patterns or rhythmic patterns. Then the VCO is used to generate an oscillator. As you can see, there are different sine waves. There is a sine wave, a triangle wave, a sawtooth wave, and so on. The VCF, which is the voltage control filters, or let me say, it shapes the sound at which frequency which I want it to be, or emphasizes the frequency which I'm using. The quantizer, here I use it to trigger the notes, like here where it is, where I was triggering. Let me just play it. So here it was triggering, so I triggered it like that. The VCA, I used it as my envelope. The ADSR, I used it for shaping the sound quality which I want. Let's say if I want a fast attack, a slow attack, a fast decay, like that. Then the scope is just a visual analysis tool, so it's just visualizing everything that I've made since I've used a sine wave. So here it will be producing, or it will be visualizing a sine wave as the all waveforms which I've created. Then for the reverb I just added it as an effect. Then the audio basically just gives me the ability to hear whatever I made in the patch. So in this case, I made a musical loop, so it gives me the ability to hear the musical loop. So for my routing process, the control voltage 1, which I was using, which is this row here, it had to go into the input on the quantizer. The trigger here on a SEQ3 had to go to the ADSR at the gate, just to trigger the sounds which will be coming. Then the sine wave, which is the wave which was generated, had to go in the input of the VCF, so that I filter out the sounds which I want to get that sound which I needed, just to emphasize on the sound which I want. And then the output here on the VCF had to go into the input of the VCA. And then here again on the VCO, there is an octave pitch input, so here it has to go out of the quantizer. And then here on the VCA output, the output has to go into the input of the scope, which is input 1 and input 2. And here on the outputs, they had to go into the reverb module, so as to add effects on the signal which is coming. Then they had to go out through the audio. And here was my final product, or here was my final melodic loop which I created. Thank you for watching.